our perspective on NoFap and the self-improvement and the semen retention, so on and so forth, is completely wrong. It's completely wrong, brother. When I began this journey, I thought that the more I'm doing, the better I will become. The more things I'm involved, the better I will become. And so, what I needed to share with you here is that is not true, bro. That is fucking not true. Because in the beginning I thought that if I'm reading, if I'm meditating, if I'm starting 12 businesses in a week, if I'm going out with this person and that person, and I'm doing running and doing yoga and doing sports and doing this and that, if I'm doing everything, I'm better. So the more things I'm doing, the better I will become. And so I felt super fucking good, and you know that I'm evolving in life, and I'm just getting better and better and better because I'm doing so many things. But reality is that I felt good because I had this false perception of me eventually growing and me eventually making steps forward, which wasn't true. I felt good because I was distracting myself. And so this is a principle that I wanted to talk to you, because this is something that had been holding me back for so long and perhaps can hold you back too. Which is the principle of distracting ourselves and always needing to do something new and something more. And so there is nothing bad with that eventually. There is nothing good or nothing bad. Over here, nothing is good or bad. But how I would like to phrase it is that this is not beneficial to your growth or our growth. I cannot talk about you, brother. I can't talk about myself or us. I cannot talk about you. It's like, what the fuck? I'm not you. So the point over here being is that I've been just so paralyzed with all these things. And so I just got this story from Saturday when I felt, if you're following me, I shared this thing with you that I just simply felt that I need to change something. I just simply felt that I have to step outside of my comfort zone, and pretty much I relapsed regarding to my monk mode. I just went out and, you know, I just went out to a club, and I would say that I had fun, you know. I didn't drink or anything, but I just, you know, went out and randomly talked with people, which is a super huge thing for me because I'm pretty much living like a monk. So I'm talking with people over the phone with my business, you know, about business mostly. It's not like friendly conversation or like fun and all that shit. So it was pretty much like a relapse for me, and definitely getting out of my monk mode. And so what I've realized is that since that, something began inside of myself, which again, I'm not labeling good or bad, but I found inside myself that I became so distracted, and I just simply need this. I just simply got this need for distraction. I just simply need this thing for new. And so I realized this thing. It's like if I have been opening up Pandora's box again. And so this is a form of weakness too. If we always need something new. If we always need something new. And so this is what is a huge problem with our generation over here, is that we are just so used to getting all the new things, and this is exciting all the time, and we are feeling super good about ourselves and about the world all the time because we are seeing new Instagram models, we are figuring out new things, we are having new ideas, and obviously these are dopamine releasing activities, brother. But the point over here being is that just the same thing with fooling ourselves with doing a shit ton amount of things, we are fooling ourselves that we are rock stars, we are superstars, we are having all these great ideas, and we are just paralyzed all the time, and we are just finding ourselves that, hey, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, going up on Instagram, going up on YouTube, and you will just find yourself creating all these new desires, desire upon desire upon desire. And so I might sound like a broken record over here, but desires are making us miserable. Some great people have figured it out thousands and thousands of years ago. Desires are making us miserable. And this is the way how, because if we are just starting a new thing, we cannot just stop there. We need another thing and another thing and another thing. And so nowadays, what is beneficial for our growth is to just simply pick something and stick with that shit. That's the only way, because nowadays the opportunities are fucking limitless, brother. The opportunities are fucking limitless. Like during running, I was thinking about, like, man, like, you know, I started my entrepreneurial journey with e-commerce. Then I pretty much switched to agency. Then I switched to physical business. Then I'm like here, and and it is good, obviously, to experiment. But by the end of the day, time is just passing and passing and fucking passing by, and you're just not making fucking progress. And this is the actual reason why. It's like, because we are just paralyzed. It just feels so good to start something new all the time. The same thing with, for example, if you're building your body, if you have this hobby of going to the gym and gaining muscle and so on and so forth. If you're throughout the week, suppose that you are so disciplined that you're working out every single day. If you're spreading your workout efforts towards, suppose, 7 muscle groups, then you will eventually grow 7 muscle groups, but none of them will be exceptional. None of them will be exceptional. But if you are focusing upon, suppose, 3 muscle groups, then those 3 muscle groups will become the best. For example, after 2 or 3 years, you can if you're going to the gym, you can see all these guys, which is like a common example, that these guys, you know, like have 0 legs, but have, like, you know, 50 biceps, 50 centimeter biceps. It's like fucking ridiculous, you know. And so that happens because they are focusing on some muscle groups. And again, as you can see, this is not good or bad, but this is good for something. But perhaps they are the fucking best with, you know, lifting for biceps. Perhaps they would be dying under, you know, squat or something like that, or maybe overall triathlons or whatever that might be. But at the very thing, they are the fucking best. The same thing, and this is how life works. And just think about, also Adam Smith have figured this whole thing out, like specialization, like on the macro scale of how our society is structured. Like, this motherfucker have figured out that if we are specializing our knowledge, then we can produce. So he has this pin factory example, right? So he figured, and this is what his whole book, The Wealth of Nations, is all about. This whole knowledge. This is pretty much what was the basic, the cornerstone of the modern economy: specialization. So how does that thing work? Here's the story. So basically, he made this example, this famous pin factory example, that a person can create throughout the day 20 pins if he's working alone in his little, you know, on his little crafting table. But if we have 10 people, then those 10 people can eventually create 200 pins. And so he started playing with the idea that what if not everyone would be just sitting, you know, everyone would be good and doing all this little pins over here, and everyone doing those pins individually, putting all the, you know, 12-step process, going through all the suppose 10 or 12-step process by themselves individually. So they are creating a pin from the beginning till the end, but they will be pretty much like splitting up the work, specializing. And suppose that we have 12 or 10 steps throughout how to create a pin, and every single motherfucker will be doing only one thing, and he would be specialized only for that one thing. And so if he specialized for only that one thing, then he made the calculations, and the results were 48,000. 48,000. You can't do the math over here, brother. It's like almost 250 times more, 240 times more. What? 240 times more. That's like 220,000% increase. And so this is how we can, this is how fucking mind-blowing this whole thing is. If you are focusing on one thing only, and if you're not focusing on any other fucking thing, but we are getting the fucking best at that thing, then that where freaking over like mind-blowing successes are coming from. So for example, look at Michael Phelps. He's the fucking best at a few kind of swimmings. It's like he's the freaking best at those swims, and that's it. He's not good at sprints, he's not good at marathons, he's not good at lifting in the gym. I mean, perhaps he's not bad, but he's definitely not the best. He's not the best in any of those things. He's perhaps not even good at any of those things. But he's the fucking one of the world's best swimmers out there, if not the best. And those 2, 3, or I don't know how many types of swims, that a few body movements over and over and over and over again to 10 years, decades, brother, decades. A few fucking movements, doing for a fucking decade. And that's where success is coming from. And that's how this whole thing works. And so this is how we are distracting ourselves, because again, it just feels so fucking good to just go out there and start something new all the time, because what we are doing is fucking boring, and there is this challenge outside of the world. There are so fucking many things. But if you're doing some kind of a deep thinking around that, then then you will figure out that whole shit might be not true. So for example, I was thinking about like, hey man, like currently I have this physical business, and so what if I'd be starting out a new another type of physical business? I was like, yes, like I'd be able to make more. Wait a minute. I do not know the actual sourcing process with this. No. Start with the beginning. I do not know how to create the journey with the customers. I don't know how to exactly contact with the customers. I don't know about the permits. I don't know about the regulations. I don't know about the market competitors. I don't know about so basically I do not know about the lead gen. I do not know about the sales. I do not know about the fulfillment. I have ideas regarding how I'm supposed to be doing that, but those are little tiny freaking details which are all fucking needs to work perfectly, like without a fucking, like there are 100 things and you'll have to test all the fucking 100 things so that we can find that one fucking thing that works the best. And I'm not kidding.